Live. We're live on Facebook.
You're live.
Welcome to everybody who's signing on. It suddenly got dark in my office. I'm trying to turn another light on. Okay, as per usual, I'm pulling up my phone so I can see who's signing on and say hello. Right now, it's just.
Oh, yes. I see now.
Yeah. It's funny because people, okay, we've got some people signing on now. If you're signing on, say hello. And this is, so as usual, I almost forgot. Brent, do you have communion elements?
I can figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, I'll show y'all what I have. It's a very much a Texas communion today for me.
Ooh.
Kolache and coffee. How more Texas can you get? What else, y'all? Does anyone have any elements you want to share? Share in the comments as we're waiting. We want to know what you're partaking in. Jana has a baby bell cheese, I think. Is that what that is?
And some coffee.
Oh, look, some nuts on demand, produced on demand. You got that. A cracker. What does Fran have?
I don't have a bite today because when I have to sing right after communion, I don't like to be having to like chew and.
Well, luckily we don't have a certain way you have to come to the communion space. So, okay. We've got in the comments, peach and white tea kombucha and sourdough and cherry and coffee and Triscuit and green tea and ginger snap and iced tea. Hello, everybody. Thanks for, I'm getting text messages. Don't people know? AKA Lyle. Okay. Fran, yeah, it feels like a while since we've been online because we had a break and then we had an in-person gathering. We were online for that, but it was just different. Fran is posting the guide, I think. Did you get it, Fran?
Working.
Hi, Clark. Hi, Naomi. Hi, Sarah, Forrest, Twyla, Sierra. Did I say Paul, Chad, Jet? There's a lot of people signing on. Lyle with his weekly cowboy emoji. Okay, well, I'm gonna, I totally forgot about this part. I didn't prepare for it. I normally share some announcements while we're waiting for people to sign on. First, I just want to say welcome to our leaders participating in this morning and helping us create this online space. And a big welcome to Brent Newberry, our guest preacher. Yay! Cannot wait for y'all to get to know him when we do a deeper look in just a few moments. But we're so grateful he is here. He literally did his church service online in Massachusetts and then jumped onto ours. So we're really excited for you to hear from him. Announcements. Hi, Echo, by the way. Hi, Echo and Eve. If you have any kids watching, we'll have a message for you in just a moment. And hello to Deborah and Joel. Okay, announcements. Fran and Matt and I went live on Facebook Thursday, and we shared 30 minutes worth of what we have coming up this fall, a mix of in-person and virtual, all which we have learned we have to hold lightly during a pandemic, but we're excited about them all, and we're very hopeful for this fall. So go check that video out. It's on Instagram and on our Facebook if you want to see it. And also get on our email list if you want to have a first look at everything that's coming up via our weekly newsletter, which is basically just a bunch of pictures, so you don't even have to read, hardly. So let us know if you're not on that email list. Otherwise, what's happening? Is there anything I need to share like right off the bat, Fran? Anything that's time sensitive?
Group meeting this week or next week?
It's next week. Our last book meeting of the summer for Richard Rohr's Naked Now is meeting next Wednesday, the 18th. But again, just get on our email list because you'll get everything in one email and it's very convenient. So DM us if you are not on the list and you want to be on it. And then the other thing I was going to share is that we are a member funded community. So feel free to fund us in any way you can. We maybe Fran or Jana or someone who can type really quickly into Facebook can share the link to our donor box. All the work we do, everything is funded. We don't have any outside grants or sponsorships or, like we say, rich aunties. We just do the work ourselves. And so feel free, of course, to give as you can when you can. We're grateful for that. Am I forgetting anything else? I think that's it. There's actually a lot coming up. That's why I didn't really say anything, because it's too much to name. You have to go watch that video or get on our email list or follow us on social media.
Yep.
Okay. Good morning to all the people who have since signed on. I am going to leave us all in gallery view this morning as I chime us in. If you could mute yourself if you're not muted, that way we don't hear any echoes. I wanted to read to you this little, okay, I'm reading this book right now. Has anyone read this? It's called In the Shelter by Padraig O'Tuama. It's an Irish poet. Okay, I'm telling y'all, this book is getting me through these times. It is such a balm. And I wanted to read a little, tiny little sentiment from him as we chime the hour together and enter into this collective space. He says, "It has taken years to continue to live into the truth that if I believe we are from God and for God, then we are from goodness and for goodness. To greet sorrow today does not mean that sorrow will be there tomorrow. Happiness comes too, and grief and tiredness, disappointment, surprise, and energy. Chaos and fulfillment will be named as well as delight and despair. This is the truth of being here, wherever here is today. It may not be permanent, but it is here. I will probably leave here, and I will probably return. To deny here is to harrow the heart. Hello to here." So I invite you to step into this present moment as we center ourselves with 10 chimes. Take some breaths. We're glad you're here today.
Good morning. If you could join me by finding your guide, there's a link to it in there, and join me for the litany for retraining ourselves, written by our very own Fran Pratt. I will read all of it, but if you would like to join me in the bold, we will go through this together. God, we want so much to be able to shift our consciousness into the consciousness that Christ shares.
Cheers.
But our beliefs about ourselves so often hold us back. We have trouble remembering Christ
in us.
We think we can't possibly be good or worthy. We are convinced that scarcity, not abundance, is our birthright. We look everywhere but inside of ourselves for the presence of God and for fulfillment and peace. Some of us go our whole lives never understanding our
belovedness.
We want to retrain ourselves to a new way of thinking and being in the world. Eternity minded, present focused, satisfied in abundance, quick to forgive, defaulting to kindness, truth aligned, love obsessed. We soak ourselves in the reality of the love of God that welcomes and accepts us unconditionally,
unconditionally,
that teaches us to be connected to an endless well of forgiveness, that
that
offers
offers
presence
us
and
presence,
grounding
grounding in every
every
moment.
moment. Because we know that this work we do within ourselves ultimately changes the whole world.
world.
When we heal ourselves, we heal the world. When we liberate ourselves, we liberate the world. We offer gratitude for God's steadfast love amid all the transformations we undergo in this life. Amen.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Jose. During this time that we've been in the pandemic, I feel like there's a lot of people that have come in that I'm not familiar with, and definitely with a lot of little ones. And so I've been asked to do the kids message today. And so parents, as I'm kind of giving a little bit of a backstory, as the kids get closer to the, just kind of get a little bit situated right there in front of the screen, I ask that if you can find some paper, it can even be a Post-it note, it can be a lined paper, it can be print paper. I have my paper right here that's on a clipboard because as you can tell, I am outside. And if I don't have it on here, it's going to fly off. And so I don't want it to fly off. So with that said, as I'm giving a little bit of backstory, if you wouldn't mind getting that, that would be great. So kids, what I'm going to share about a little bit today is there was a prophet by the name of Elijah. And I believe our message today is with this individual. And so in the scripture that we read today, that we will be reading later, I'm not going to obviously go into it very deep, but at this point right now, one of the things that I want you guys to know is that Elijah had a lot of things going on at that point in this passage. And he was emotionally, physically, spiritually tired because he had done some really cool things beforehand earlier in the story. And so sometimes I feel we find ourselves in that point too, right? We this last year and a half or so has been really, really hard. I'm pretty sure it's been confusing. I have 3 kids of my own and they're a little older, but even for them, it is a little confusing and it's hard. And so a lot of, frustration because maybe you can't do as much as what you used to be doing, or maybe going as many places with your family as you used to. I know we have not been able to do that, just trying to be mindful of all that. So it's been really, really tough. So even though I can't see you, if you're able to, in the comments, I think there might be a little emote. I don't know if it's emoji or a little thing that, kind of raises your hand. Feel free to do that. Say, yeah, that was me. That was our family. Or, type it in a little message that says, yes, that was us. It was hard for us today, this last several years or this past year, I'm sorry. And so, and then with school starting up, I know some of us will start school this week, some of us the next week. Some of us are happy maybe that we don't have to start school just yet. But regardless, there's a lot of mixed emotions with all that. And what I'm wanting us to understand is it's been tough, no doubt. And so what I want you guys to do today, or I want to help you guys to understand, is just like the prophet Elijah, after he was running from somebody that was trying to hurt him real badly, he ended up resting under like a bush. And when he was there, he was taken care of by God, by food and water. And the main thing that I want to stress with you guys is we've had a really tough year, right? And there's been other things maybe that's gone on in your lives, in your family, that has made it even tougher. And I want you to know that it's okay to rest. Just like the prophet Elijah needed a rest, you guys need to understand that it's okay to rest. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be annoyed with the way things are. And sometimes we don't know how to say it, right? We don't know how to do it. So sometimes we start picking on our brother and sister. Sometimes we do things that we know our parents aren't going to want us to do, but we do it anyways because it's just, we don't know what to do with all these emotions that are up in, that are inside of us and all that. And so what I want to do, hopefully your parents now have kind of been able to get you a sticky note or a piece of paper or something, and then, a pen or pencil or something like that. And so what I want us to do, I want to share 2, maybe 3 things that you can do to rest, things that will help you to bring your mind, kind of like what we did just a moment ago with the chiming, to kind of help bring you back. And so in a kid-friendly way, if you will, where you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I do this all the time, but I didn't realize I did this. And or I could use it this way. And so one of the things that I want to stress with you is one way to kind of find yourself a place to kind of rest and, you know, kind of get your mind centered is go on a walk. And when you go on a walk, usually, you know, when my kids were little, we would ask them, why don't you pick up leaves? Go, you know, and I pulled this off the magnolia tree. My wife's probably not gonna be happy, but that's okay. And so, you know, you find leaves on the ground, collect them. Sometimes you find rocks as you're walking along, right? And you find all sorts of different type of leaves. So maybe going on a little hike or walk, depending on how hot it is, or in the morning or the afternoon with your family, is something you can do, right? That's a way to kind of get a little bit of rest. And in that, you're also practicing some social distancing, okay? And so there's that. Now, if you have your paper with you, I want you to grab a marker. I have a blue marker here. I'm gonna get this fatter one right here, and I'm gonna open it up. And what I'm gonna do is and so you're gonna not see it until I do this, but really what you do, this is what we call Zen doodling, okay? It's a way for your mind to relax. It's a way for you to just feel like, okay, I have all these emotions. I don't know what to do with them. What am I gonna do? And so this is a really great way. So what I'm gonna ask you to do while you're sitting there is grab that marker and you're gonna put it on your piece of paper and you're gonna start at one of the corners, okay? And then let me show you what I'm gonna do. And you just kind of let your hand go wherever it wants. And it forms a shape like this. Does that make sense? And then you start maybe at this corner over here. And so I'm gonna do this corner now. And there's really no like pattern, if you will. And then you get something like this, okay? And then sometimes you can start from the bottom corner over here. And then you just kind of just let your hand go wherever it wants. And so you do this from each of the 4 corners, and I'm gonna show you. And so you have something like this, right? And so what you can do, you can keep adding lines from the side and keep, you know, adding to it, but it helps your mind to relax. It helps you to focus, and it helps you to feel like you're doing some movement with your body. And so the next thing I want you to do, and you don't have to finish this right now, okay? I don't want to rush you. The next thing you do is then you, in each of these spaces right here, you're going to draw a pattern of some kind. For example, on one of them, I'm going to just draw real quickly some lines, and these are going to be really big because my marker is really big, but this is something that will help you to just, you know, it's repetitive, and there's something that with repetitiveness, you know, something that you do over and over again that helps your mind to relax, to kind of get focused a little bit. So I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm almost done. And this is something I want you to do. So here you go. You see that right there? I want you to see that because this is something you can do when you're at home anytime. Again, you can use a sticky note, and I'm using this big of a piece of paper because I want you guys to see it. And then you get a different colored one. Okay, so I got blue right here, right? Why don't I just switch to something a little different because I want y'all to be able to see it. And so I got a brown. And so what I'm going to do next in another spot right here, let's just say I'm going to do this spot right here. Okay. Then you get this, and I'm just going to draw a bunch of circles in there. Okay. Again, nothing fancy. I'm not expecting this to be Picasso or, you know, anything like that. So it's something to kind of help you to relax. Now look at that. Let's see if you can see that. Okay. And so you keep doing something like this, some kind of pattern over and over. And then as over time, your whole paper will be full of stuff, right? Of different designs. And if you can get different colors, it's going to look really, really pretty. Or the other option for you is this: instead of drawing lines, maybe you color in the spaces with different colors. And it's a beautiful artwork. And it's something that you can be proud of and your parents can look at. And maybe your parents can even frame it. Okay. Because I know we used to do that with some of the kids' art. But of course, you guys make so much stuff that the walls would be covered with it. So, you know, but your parents would enjoy seeing that, and you enjoy seeing that. So what I'm going to ask is this: you're not going to finish it right now, But maybe later today, when you do finish it, your parents can take a picture of it and post it to our Facebook Piece of Christ page right there, okay? So that everybody can kind of see what yours looks like. All right. So if you want to do that, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Number 2, okay? Just like the prophet Elijah needed some rest. Have you ever heard of rainbow or butterfly breathing? Okay. Some of you are like, what is that? Okay. Rainbow butterfly breathing is this. You get your fingers that you have right here. And just like Elijah was able to just rest his body, go to sleep for a little bit, we need our bodies to just kind of calm down, just like the chiming again. And so you get your fingers, imagine that you're getting paint on each of your fingertips. You put it out wide, and I know you can't see it, but you put your hands out really, really wide like this, and you breathe as you go up, and then you exhale as you go down. Okay, so that's either a butterfly or it's a rainbow. Okay, whatever you want it to be, but it helps you to get yourself to a place where you feel calmer, maybe a little bit more relaxed. And if you need to do that many times, then guess what? You do it a lot of different times. So the other couple of things that I wanted to mention to you is find a space that you feel comfortable in. You know, where is your happy space? Maybe it's, you know, in a tent that you have. Maybe it's in your backyard. If you have a hammock, maybe if you have a pool in your backyard, you can go swimming. Maybe it's just playing with a friend somewhere else. Maybe it's Play-Doh. If you have Play-Doh or that, what is it? Magnetic sand. We have some magnetic sand, playing with that. All these things that we have now help us to relax. And just like the prophet Elijah was able to rest, get some energy in him, and then be able to go and do the other things God had for him, I encourage you to do the same. So again, just like the prophet needed a moment to kind of rest, I encourage you to rest as the school year begins, or as we begin the fall season here soon, and just enjoy that time with your family. And I really do look forward to seeing some of these Zen doodlings on the Facebook page. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jose. I'm gonna move us into the communion space. Okay, so I read to you all a little bit from this book when we were chiming, and well, hold on, let me pull this up. This book, In the Shelter. I want to encourage anyone who is really struggling. I see a lot of anxiety in the comments around school, and just the world in general is kind of a crazy place to be in. This book has helped me a lot coping with the reality that this is the present moment that I am in. This is it. This is what it looks like to exist right now for me. And this book is helping me. So if you need help coping in your own present moment, I encourage you to go to bookshop.org or support your local bookshop in some other way and order it. But in it, he talks about the life seasons and the emotional spaces we are in as locations. And I wanted to read one more little snippet to you. And I actually posted this on my Instagram account earlier this week. So if you want to see it in written form, you can go check that out later. But he said, if you can find the courage to name here, especially in the place where you do not wish to be, it can help you be there. Instead of resenting another's words of gladness or pain, it may be possible to hear it as simply another location. They are there, and I am here. At another point, we will be in different locations, and everybody will pass by many locations in their life. The pain is only deepened when the location is resented, or even worse, unnamed. Hello to here. So I read that to you because I would like for us today to consider communion as another one of our locations. Communion is a location, it's a place where we meet every week. And when we are here, it is a place of steady footing amidst our various seasons, our various headspaces. We are here. Hello to here. Hello to this shared location we can depend on. Now, I think there's something really unique maybe not always ideal, but really unique about meeting at this location virtually. We are truly in the midst of each of our individual contexts. We cannot step away from our realities. As I think about what's on the other side of my screen from over here, I am imagining people in their pajamas, dirty hair, no one to impress, maybe kids tearing through the house, or half-eaten breakfast, or maybe a forgotten cup of coffee in the microwave. You should really go get that cup of coffee. I love it. I love this imagery. And I love that we are meeting in this ritual space, this location, just as we are. In the fullness of our sorrow, our stress, our happiness, in the fullness of our realities, we are here. And into this space, we carry all our differences. We come from so many different backgrounds, so many different experiences, and certainly many faith traditions, yet we are the same. In that, for so many of us, communion in the past has often represented a sacred exclusion. It's kind of ironic, a sacred exclusion. It's so often a ritual of in and out, a ritual of being bound together by specific dogmas and prescriptions. But here we flip that notion on its head. We've thrown out the rule book, and instead we've opted for sacred inclusion. Here, it doesn't matter where you are. Here, it doesn't matter who you're with or how you didn't live up or what doctrine you like to keep in your own back pocket. It doesn't matter. This moment is our marker of divine presence and our remembrance that Christ's love goes with us in every part of our lives. And so my hope is that the physical ingestion of food and drink this morning can help us bring these reminders with us from this location to the next. And I want to invite you to join me in the liturgy as also a marker of ritual moment. You can find it in the guide. I'll read all of it, but feel free to respond in the bold or whatever makes you comfortable. The Lord be with you and also with you. Lift up your hearts. We lift them to the Lord. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is right to give our thanks in praise. God of the here and now, grant us eyes to see the beauty of this shared moment. May we make the decision to place our intention here, and in doing so, take up the power the present moment offers us. Amen. Now, as you eat and drink your elements today, I want to invite you to feel all the nourishment of this shared location. May this nourishment help sustain you in the days and weeks to come. Please eat. Great is the mystery of faith. Christ has died. Christ is risen. Christ will come again.
Sorry, I realized that I forgot to link the lyrics to the song we're going to sing in the guide, but I just dropped them into the comments if you want to grab them. We're going to sing Be Thou My Vision. As is wont to happen on various occasions, Aurelia and I's weight will be on the same wavelength without even realizing. I had no idea that Aurelia was going to bring us some poetry from an Irish poet. And I had planned to play another song this week. And then on Friday, I was like, that's not the right song for this week. I got to play Be Thou My Vision, which is a very famous ancient Irish hymn. Originally, it was sung in the Irish, and it's been translated and sung. It is a very beloved hymn by Christians all over the world for over 100 years. And even earlier than that in Ireland. So I would love for you to join me today in singing Be Thou My Vision. I do change the lyrics up a little bit here and there at places you might notice where I sing a different word or a different pronoun. But yeah, I'm always going to be doing that. So here we go. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart. Not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought in day and in night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence, my Lord. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my creator, and I thy true child. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Riches I heed not, nor vain human praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only first in my heart. High Queen of heaven, my treasure thou art. High Queen of heaven, when battle is done, grant heaven's joys to me, O bright heaven's sun. Christ of mine own heart, whatever before, still be my vision, O ruler of all. Still be my vision, O ruler of all. Amen.
Okay. Thanks, Fran. That was so good. Okay. Deep breaths. Moving into a part of the gathering that I love so much, especially today, because we have one of my favorite people here joining us to guest preach. His name is Brent Newberry, and he and I and Jana all went to seminary together, just around at the same time. Did we graduate at the same time, Brent? I can't remember.
2013 for me.
Okay.
I think
That
you're
was
right.
2012, yeah. But anyway, I'm so glad to have you here, and I love a deeper look so we can get to know who you are a little bit more and just celebrate you. So first off, introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Hi, and thank you so much for this opportunity. And I don't know how to. I don't know what to say. I have lived in the South a lot of my life. I was in Texas, of course, for seminary in Waco, and then I lived in Florida twice as a kid and once as an adult. And then I went to high school and college in Mississippi. So I moved around a lot, even some Kansas, and now I'm in Massachusetts. So I just that's the one that stands out of the others, I suppose. And I am pastoring this church up here in Worcester, Massachusetts. That's how you say it, Worcester. And I have a partner. Her name is Kelsey. She lives in Georgia. She's the pastor down there. And then I live with my dog, Zoe Deschanel, who is going on 12. And I like photography and reading and binge watching different shows. How's that? Yeah,
That was really good.
I'm nervous. Sorry, I don't know.
That was really, really good.
Also, can I just say that was beautiful, friend, and it's my favorite hymn too. So it was like another thread of
Yeah. She
synchronicity.
changed
Anyway,
it to the guest preacher's
I love it when
favorite
that
hymn. I
happens.
know.
love it when that happens. I get such satisfaction.
Yes, love it. Jana said, seeing Brent's face makes me so happy. Good to see you, my friend.
oh, hi.
Okay,
Likewise.
second question.
Okay.
It's not really a question, it's more
Try
of
to
a
do better.
command or a demand, however you want to look at it. Tell us something about you that no one would know unless you told them. Of course, no one knows anything about you hardly at this point. I mean, in this you're a guest here, so there's a lot of things you could say, but we were thinking something kind of quirky that makes you you.
Yeah, I don't remember if I put this in the bio or not, but two of the things that I think there are some of my favorite things that I don't really lead with is one, I'm a big ramen noodle fan, so I really like trying different spins on it. And so up here, like lobster is a big thing, and you can get it for cheap during the summer. And so like a lobster ramen or a pot roast ramen or just whatever, just something quirky like that that I really enjoy. And then I'm also a big fantasy baseball geek. Those are the two things I would say.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. We love ramen here too. So come see us in person and we'll
Okay.
take you to get some ramen.
Deal.
I know several of our people make some really great ramen. So just saying.
I have a lot to learn. It's not like I've mastered it. That's what I do.
Yes. Well, I love to eat it. Okay, here's a bonus question. I'm going to give you two since you're being so short.
Okay, sorry. I can, okay.
What's funny is this was sent to me before the service started, and the first one I'm going to ask is perfect based on what you just said about yourself. What is the last show you binge watched?
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually, well, I won't say that one because I do want you to still like stay.
No, you have to say the last one.
Well, I don't usually do this. I do it every once in a while with Kelsey, my partner. But sometimes we'll watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette, and I've been watching the current season of The Bachelorette, and I'm just like really, I really think some of the guys are really like good guys, and I usually feel icky and I don't like it. And this time I found myself tearing up. The other show that I'm rewatching is Outer Banks because the new season came out.
Cool. Okay. Jana just texted. Was that what you texted me about this last week? Asking me if I've seen that. I've never even heard of it. Okay. New show. If you have teared up or binge watched a reality TV show this week, share in the comments some solidarity with Brent so he doesn't feel bad. We all have our reality TV show that we enjoy. So, okay. Oh, here's the next one.
I have a theory why so many clergy like those kind of shows. And I think it's because like, we don't want it to actually play out in our churches. So if we can like see it happen over there, then we can get it out of our system.
Yeah, well, I definitely think a lot of clergy are concerned about the human condition. And the reality shows are like a microscope on it sometimes. So it's kind of fascinating. But okay, another one real quick. What was your favorite childhood movie?
Mm-hmm. Probably The Goonies, which has like an Outer Banks has kind of a Goonies feel to it. One of my friends pointed that out, and I totally see it now. But that's probably the one I would go back to. I'm an Enneagram 4, so there's also one that I think was like the first revelation when I look back that I was a 4. It's called The Dog Who Stopped the War, but I'm not going to go into it because it's kind of a downer. But I really loved that one too. So anyway.
So an Enneagram 4 like had a favorite movie that was a downer?
Yeah, right. I know.
I can't believe it.
But I was like a little kid, so.
Right. That's funny. Thanks for sharing a little glimpse into little Brent.
Yes.
Okay, last question. I mean, I could just talk hear from you all day. But last question, what are you particularly passionate about right now in your spiritual life?
Yeah. I I I think so. I live alone with my dog, so I think it's important for me with the pandemic. Like I've been very fortunate to have been okay through it, and so I think one of the hard parts for me personally was just as someone who lives with depression and anxiety at different seasons, um, to get out and about more and not just stay home when I could, like nature in particular. But people when it's safe. And I think lately I've noticed, especially the last like since the spring, I've noticed I'm like paying attention to animals and nature, like plants and things, and their rhythms in a ways that I never did. Not when I didn't live up here, because the seasons don't change in Texas. You know, it's and so like to see leaves changing and then growing, you know, blooming again, and so the rhythms of nature, I think, are I'm just really paying attention to them differently now. I've got this little tree sapling that sprouted up out of a pot that like I didn't plant it. It's just it sprouted up and now it's the second year and I just keep it and I keep watering it. And so I've got a maple tree and like a pot that's this big. At some point it's going to outgrow, but there's just something about that thinking about it, then I'm just thinking about incarnation and resurrection both through lenses of nature, like plants, but also animals, and what that can look like in different ways. So I haven't landed on like literature that points me that direction yet, but that's certainly giving me life right now in the spiritual side of things.
Yeah, I love that. I think there'd probably, if we invited people in the comments to share how they resonate, I bet that a lot of people's relationship with nature has evolved and expanded in so many ways in this season. Feel free to share in the comments if that's true for you, but I totally resonate with how there's been a change there that has brought me deeper into communion with the divine via the earth and its resources. So thank you for sharing. I'm excited to hear from you in just a few minutes, but Joyce is going to lead us in the reading first. So thanks again though, Brent.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, this biblical text that Jose based his kids sermon on, and I really, really enjoyed all three of the things that you mentioned. And I am going to try one of the Zen doodles myself because we all need that rest that you were talking about. And like what Brent was just saying, I find often that nature gives me that rest. I can get out there and get in those rhythms, and I'm taken out of the rhythm of whatever's going on in my own life, however hectic it is. And so this is a great biblical passage about our need for rest. So it's 1 Kings 19, 4-8, and I'm reading from the Common English Bible. He, meaning Elijah, went himself further on into the desert a day's journey. He finally sat down under a solitary broom bush. He longed for his own death. It's more than enough, Lord. Take my life because I'm no better than my ancestors. He lay down and slept under the solitary broom bush. Then suddenly, a messenger tapped him and said to him, "Get up, eat something." Elijah opened his eyes and saw flatbread baked on glowing coals and a jar of water right by his head. He ate and drank and then went back to sleep. The Lord's messenger returned a second time and tapped him. "Get up," the messenger said. "Eat something, because you have a difficult road ahead of you." Elijah got up, ate and drank, and went refreshed by that food for 40 days and nights until he arrived at Horeb, God's mountain. This is the word of the Lord. We hear the voice of God. Thanks be to God.
Well, thank you again for the invitation, and it's good to see familiar faces and to meet at least the 6 faces I can see. I guess I can't see everyone else, but thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? If, okay, I've got like this AC unit that's kind of loud, so forgive me. But so one of the things that I want to do at the end of this reflection is I want to read a prayer that kind of helps spark this whole thing for me. So I want to name that too. So I believe pronunciation would be Misha Boyett, who is the author of this prayer against efficiency, which I'll read at the end as a prayer for us. But it just got my mind thinking about images of life, metaphors for life, whatever, think of the rat race or something like those kind of terms when we think about life and the struggles and striving and all of that. And so that was in my mind at first because of this prayer. And then I just started thinking of the different ways that I think life applies for, like, unfolds for me. And so I guess I just want to name that a little bit of a process in case this is a little too abstract. And then also to say the prayer at the end will at least be something too. But I imagine some of you can tell this, but I actually have on a clip-on bow tie. And I guess it's more of like a hook in the back underneath the collar here, but it keeps riding up and everything. But and I had a Christmas where my partner, she bought me some real bow ties, which I would say, in my opinion, they're just simply the IKEA version of bow ties, rather than real bow ties. They aren't pre-assembled like this one. And even worse, they don't come with instructions. And the YouTube videos, they're not helpful for me. The bow tie influencers on YouTube are too quick with their flips and their folds and their knots. And I need like a third hand to pause it and rewind it, because as soon as I release one hand, I got to start over. It kind of feels a bit like origami to me, maybe even. There's some kind of mindfulness level that I haven't yet unlocked to be able to figure out how to tie a bow tie. So I just unhook the clip each Sunday. Ministry feels like that to me sometimes. We put up the best facade that a seminary degree can muster, until a crisis hits and we're faced with the choice of unhooking the clip-on bow tie that's soaking up the stale coffee that was just spilled, or do we just leave it there for propriety's sake? Because after all, you got to wear a tie to worship up here. I don't know, maybe that's how Elijah felt in the scriptures we just heard read, exhausted from the work, daunted by the onslaught of oppression and intimidation. That very unbecoming power couple in his congregation, Ahab and Jezebel, that were threatening his livelihood and even his very life if he didn't oblige their egos and preferences. Life feels like that to me sometimes too, not just ministry. A Rubik's Cube of endless decisions, and maybe some outward observers and impressions. And a few people have memorized the steps that work to solve a Rubik's Cube, but the rest of us, we just spin our squares, or maybe our wheels, over and over and over. We don't just perform under these pressures, though. We so often we end up embodying them. They aren't just novelties that we can't figure out. Credit scores aren't a ball game. And student loans and medical debt, medical bills, they shouldn't feel like a tired riddle that we have to solve. Compounding debt and stagnant wages shouldn't be a joke. So we handle all of these things that come our way in life the best that we know how. Who needs an app when we have social media? You can grab your smartphone and it's homecoming picture, engagement photo, conspiracy theory, baby bumps, cute dog pictures, some smack talk about sports teams, conspiracy theory, poignant poems, social justice posts, Harry Potter house quizzes, news feed. feeding us. A steady diet of popcorn and M&Ms, empty calories nourishing our sugar highs and crashes, joy and existential angst, and maybe some unaddressed carpal tunnel symptoms. This week, a person won a rock skipping championship. I'm sure it was like some Midwestern town. It just feels like it would be. While the World Olympics took center stage, this town, they held corgi races and air guitar competitions. Now, I don't know the world record or the Olympic record for that matter. That is the most skips of a stone across a body of water, but this person, he skipped it 50 times. I saw the video, 50 times. That stone must think it's the billionaire who made it to outer space. That feels like life to me too sometimes. Always trying to win, to improve, to be the best, to earn, to get to the top, or to reach the other side of that which we can't really see or know. Endlessly striving for something, but really it's just to avoid something. Most of the time, something we don't stop to name or feel or know. We're just pebbles skipping across the current of existential angst, maybe, or for some, underlying fears, what's unknown, that none of us can really ultimately ever see always with clarity, but it always costs us everything in the present, in the here and the now, this endless striving or mindless numbing, rock skipping or doom scrolling. We want anything but to be, to float. Yeah, life can be like that sometimes too, floating. The divine flotation device in our lungs, we can just have the faith, as my friend Eric says, to stop flailing and to float. If we could just have the faith to stop flailing and trying to speak and to work and to impress and to hoard and to make ends meet all at the same time. All right. I know it's not always that simple. Maybe it isn't always that scary either. But I suppose life is all of these things, from bow ties to origami to rock skipping and doom scrolling and so much else too. Unfair, daunting, unrelenting, good. Maybe life is like Elijah before this story that was read, when God's prophets were being killed. The injustice of telling the truth was a death sentence. And maybe sometimes life is like Elijah in this story that was read, when all God wants is for him to take a nap and to eat what he can, to rest. Or as Misha Boyett says, to be made. Maybe life is like God then, if we dare to believe it, if we have eyes to see it, constant and moving, confounding and worth it, cyclical, rhythmic, practiced at creating, at shaping, at folding, at tying, at spinning, at making space and time and priorities and needs and desires and hopes and meaning our very lives mystically in the shadows and nights, like the phone charging overnight, or the sapling that sprouts when no one's been looking, the bear that awakens from hibernation, or the grass that turned green when no one was paying attention, the canyon that's been carved out over millennia or a campfire that glows once that guy finally quits poking at it. The bread that rises from its cozy nap. The pie that needs to sit to rest. That needs to rest. Would you pray with me? It's a prayer against efficiency by Misha Boyett. Oh God, beyond time, beyond the number line, the hourglass, beyond moons that wax and wane and waves that push and pull along our fragile ground. Oh God, beyond days and weeks and months. God, uncontained by our 24 hours, free of our borders and yet still within them. God who is here. God of the meetings, the emails, the PTA, the neck ache, the child crying over homework, the car leaking oil, the head lice, and the sheets to wash. Oh God of the groceries and the knife against the butcher block moving slow against the cucumber. God of the sun's path across the sky we cannot reach. God of midday. God of afternoons and the laughter of children, the clap of a ball on concrete. A God of evening color and the muted spread of light in the clouds as the night leaks in. God in the hand I hold. God of the one I love. God beyond time, we come to you pulled by the bullet points in our calendars, by the titles we keep beside our names, by the goals we've charted and the accomplishments we list to define our value. You see each image we upload to our pocket screens, altered, filtered, and pinned to virtual walls. You, God, touch our distortions and soothe the edges of our efficiency, and only you can make us real. God, beyond the boxes we build to contain our lives, the hours we track and tally, God, outside of time, yet here, come to us. Relieve our ragged breaths. Slow our steps. Relax the red lines that spike in our brains. Tell us what is true. Show us how time rolls like calm water. Let us cup it, quiet in our hands. God, teach us to pause in this moment, to tuck ourselves into the curve of your slow arm, that we may know the miracle of now, the gift of this moment. You beside and beyond us, welcoming us outside of all we measure and standing with us in it. May we see the goodness of our still hours and days, sunrises, sunsets, and the darkness where our rest is found. Order us that we may stand within time holding your hand, that we may know we are enough, not because of what we make of these hours, but because within these hours, with you, we are being made. Amen.
Brent, thank you so much for that message and the prayer and your ability to kind of distill down into this poetic moment, kind of a lot of where our heart spaces are. As we kind of transition to the benediction, I just want to offer any space for those of you in here to process if there's anything you'd like to say. But I was just going to say that I imagine, in years to come, if someone were to come across this little recording and listen to it as their only insight into what this season of time was like in the world, I imagine they would pick up on the need for us to find some comfort and find some peace and find some way to make sense in the world. And I just felt like everybody's elements today, Jose, for the way you spoke into the kids, and Joyce's comments and Fran's song and the litany Jana read, and even the communion and the way that that coordinated with your prayer about being in the present moment. Like, it just seemed like we were trying to offer a balm in this space and some comfort together. It just felt like it all tied together. So we didn't, we couldn't plan that, like how it happened, but thank you for offering that for us. And if you're watching still, thank you for joining us. Thanks for saying hello in the comments. We'll get Brent's sermon up online in the next couple of days so that you can go back, and that's definitely one we're going to want to re-listen to when we need it. So it'll be on our podcast soon. And now I just want to go ahead and read our benediction that we usually read together as a tradition. So I'll read all of it. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to unmute and respond, feel free. But here it is. Lord, you are ascending God. You sent your word to create. You sent Christ to reveal. You sent your spirit to empower. You sent your church to proclaim. Send us, O God, to renew the earth. Lead us by your spirit and your word. As your people, we now go. By our love, we'll make you known. People of God, you are sent. Go in peace, for peace.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.